That's better, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. And then check you there. Another stream! Yeah! Woo! Yeah, back again. Not gonna start singing. Yeah, so obviously I left off the other day. As they'll be coming back. I've got another free day today until I have to go to work again because I'm working freelance as a gardener currently. It's pretty damn cool and I'm getting paid decently well. But yes, it does mean I've got some free time to do a bit of a stream today. And today we're basically going to be doing the rest of the OC, or as many as we can do. And one thing I noticed last time is that I did a lot of drawing. A lot of talking and not a lot of drawing. So we're going to try and draw as much as we can while we also talk over the top. Oh, no idea was the thing. Yeah, the only thing with the white line is that when you do the outline for things, it shows up the white line on the outside and it kind of defeats the purpose of the whole outline because it just has like an extra layer that's already there, and it's really annoying because selection isn't always 100% correct and it does leave little bits like this, which is why I suggest just checking all of your selected pieces or media before you go use them to make sure you haven't got any lasting bits round the edges, especially for things that you've drawn in the past, because obviously if you're screenshotting or copy and pasting, the proportion difference is obviously going to come into play, because depending on how small you drew it, the pixels are going to have to get bigger or larger, and it's going to interfere with selection. This bit is a bit of a pain, but it's alright, it's not too bad. And I'm using my favourite brush again, so yeah. Oh yes, so what have I been doing recently? Catching up on stuff. Yeah, like I said, been doing a bit of freelance gardening. It's all well and good. I've got my actual birthday coming up soon, which is rather exciting as well. I'm going to be 19. I think I mentioned that last time as well, because this was kind of meant to be a birthday stream. OCs, personas, you get the idea, but I think this is just going to be kind of like a running thing now. Well, over the next couple of weeks or days or whatever, until I get them done and until I add kind of like more ideas for ones that I want to do. Because, yeah, there's a possibility that I might definitely add more ones for the ones I want to do. But I think for now, these ones are just good. Because I have actually got some more stream ideas that I came up with in between this and the last one, which I think will be pretty quite fun. And also we've got some main channel, well, this is the main channel. We've got some like proper channel video stuff coming up quite soon as well, with a couple other things that have been in the works for a bit too. Because there's one specific program I really want to try, which is going to be super beneficial for uni since I'm studying games animation. I already have obviously knowledge into animation, 2D and all of that. But I want to have a look at the 3D side of things, and some of you may even be able to guess what said program is. Because although the uni use a paid version, there is a free one, which is also fairly easy to use, except I will be spending about a month learning it, and then cramming that into a recording. So, yeah, I've got some ideas there. And yeah, like I said, there's a couple other things which are just like fun little quips, ideas that I've had, and I want to try them. So that might be fun. So yeah, that's me. Obviously, yeah, chat, how have you guys been? Just like in general, not since I last saw you, obviously, because that wasn't very long ago. But yeah, how you guys been? How y'all doing? How's your year going? Because for me, it's gone pretty quick so far, and which I find pretty worrying. Also kind of good, because obviously time flies when you're having fun, but it is true. When you're having fun, things seem to go faster. The only problem is, if things go faster, you're just nearing closer and closer to death and the infinite void, because nobody actually knows if there's anything after death. You just have a belief that there's something there, but don't actually know if there's something there, so you're just barreling towards the void and infinite blackness. And yeah, honestly, it's not a great thing to think about. And obviously other side effects like, I guess, well, what's the point of waiting for that? Or I can't. You know what? We're gonna stop here. And yes, I think I'll getting back on track. Just kind of snap back to reality. Watch your profanity, Guardians of the Galaxy. Scam and villainy. Center of gravity. Yeah, coming back to like the topic of things. So I've got a couple in mind today that I want to try. They are the more cartoony ones because I think we're going to do these in orders. So the other ones I want to try today are Hell of a Boss and Has Been, which are kind of like the same universe. So we're kind of fun. I've been watching the show since it started, and some people weren't too happy with Has Been. I'd say it's all right. Again, I think most people weren't happy because of the new voice actors. I think a lot of people were expecting the original ones that were kind of in the pilot and kind of pushed to be the original voice actors when it was all going on before it got put on Amazon. And to be fair, I was a tad bit disappointed, but also kind of happy because it's kind of good to get new people in, kind of step back, refresh. You know what? I want to kind of change this a bit, but maybe keep some of the original people and have them as different characters and different voices. What really fits my characters and what's really going to work. And I guess it is all up to the creator's choice, obviously. It's all up to the kind of creator's choice about their voice actors and who they choose to play their characters and what the characters look like as well. Because obviously, since the pilot of Has Been, the designs obviously changed too. Which is great. There's also a bunch of new lore as well, which I think is absolutely terrific. But I personally can get on par with new voice actors. I actually think they match the tones of the originals quite well. Obviously, Angel's got like a slightly... His voice isn't as high-pitched as it was before, or as kind of... It's like nasally and high-pitched as it was before. It's kind of more... I don't want to say deeper. It's hard to kind of describe, but it does... I think it does match quite well. And obviously there were some others that kind of were on par. I think someone's at the door. I'm going to have to go check. Give me a second. I'll be there. I'll be back. I will be back. Give me a sec. Don't you ever say just walked away. I always wanted you. Yeah, back. I'm back. Backety back. He go back. I've got back. Come on, man. No, we're not going to say that. Has been. So, yeah, voice actors, all of that changed. But some of them do match the tones quite well, and I think it's quite cool that they have. And, yeah. Just go get a parcel, that's all. Nothing too big. But yeah, there's voice actors and has been and things like that. Oh, and actually, yeah, that's the other thing is obviously through watching the Has Been original and the pilot and stuff, I've actually discovered a lot more YouTube animation. Well, one of the big hitters was obviously Digital Circus, which is an amazing show, and I can't wait to see where they go with it. Apparently Jack's got a lot of hate because people thought he was more playful than mean. I kind of like his character, actually. The way he is. So, yeah. And then, obviously, there is Hell of a Boss as well, which is getting a couple new episodes. Season 2 Part 2 is... Actually, I can swear here because, yeah, it's a stream. What are you going to do? It is funny as fuck, to be honest. It is funny as fuck. It's not like laugh out loud humor. It's kind of more, I guess, like directed humor. But there is some sad parts in there. There's a lot of like lewdness and sexual talk as well, which is, I guess, just adds a laugh and the theme of it. But yeah, it dives into lore a lot as well. It's kind of cool to have a look at like the lesser beings in that universe of hell, I guess. And yeah, it's kind of weird to have a look at that, and see how they kind of intermingle with everything else. And well, the other thing is, I'm quite excited to see how the new Ars Goetia family kind of interacts with the one we've already seen. Because obviously there's Stella's side of the family, which is way more evil. And then there's kind of, I guess, not... I think, yeah, because the Ars Goetia isn't... It's like an actual thing in Christianity. It's not a they're not like related family. It's kind of like they are family, but it's not like a related family. If you kind of get, it's kind of like a group that form a family, but they're not a family, but they are. It's kind of hard to depict, but yeah. Anyway, yes. So we left off on this one here, and I don't actually remember what this is, but we're going to finish it anyway. And to be honest, I kind of like this sort of stringy, detached sketch vibe as well. I think it's quite cool. And tell you what, I'm actually going to go with the... I did a little tutorial a while ago on how to draw in the Spider-Verse style. I think we're going to apply that here. If I can find it on YouTube. I think I did it while I was doing the Just got a text from someone, sorry. Yep. Okay, fuck you. Yes, we're gonna find the Spider-Verse kind of style short. Because, like I said, I want to draw in the Spider-Verse style with the sort of mini tutorial that I made. Oh, and yeah, the other thing, I've been watching a lot of Draw For You recently. Kind of arty bits every now and then too. And they did I think they did the 1 layer draw challenge quite recently, which is quite cool. Now I don't. I guess I think I spoke about this last time, but actually I might have just been in my head. But yeah, with traditional art versus digital art, there isn't really much difference except the medium and the fact that you can undo. I guess those are kind of like the two things. It's like I use the same process, I use the same everything to do traditional and digital art. But the problem is with digital art, you have undo, whereas in like traditional art, problem is you can undo with an eraser, but most of the time it will ruin something, it will make something look bad. It's only you can only really erase when it's on sketch, or use an eraser to draw, which is a fun concept I want to try at some point. I think I've done it in the past, but if I had to choose a favorite out of either of them, it would have to be digital for now, just because I'm more nuanced to it. Whereas traditional I did for a very long time, but digital I just kind of find easier, to be honest. I don't know why, but it says more to me. Anyway, yes, we're gonna find this. We're gonna find this thing. Aha! I found it! Aha!
I wanted to learn the style of the Spider-Verse. First, you'll need to lay out a sketch with basic flat colours.
Yes.
Then you'll want to grab a soft, lower opacity brush and begin adding shadows on the lower or upper region, depending on where your light's coming from.
Yaha! Right, so I need to pick a defining light source. And I think for this, because it's going to be quite like a vibrant coloured one, I think I want the light source to be coming from the eye. It's not how you say the eye in French. Yeah, never mind. Right, if we grab this layer here, which I believe is the eye layer, if we go ahead and Control T that, and then Control C and Control V, what the hell? No. T. I want to T. There we go. Control C, Control V, and Control T again. And basically we're going to shove this over here. And we're going to erase part of it because it's going to go underneath the arm. So we're going to have to mask it anyway. But the way we're going to do this is we're going to take light from the eye. And that's where our light source is going to be coming from. So the light will be kind of facing downwards and the shadows will be facing upwards. In a sense, I guess. But what I think I might do for a lot of them now is actually put the eye in first, so I can establish a light source, and then from that light source kind of draw in the flat colour and everything as well. And I'm not going to do the same clothing for all of these as well. I think I need to kind of expand my horizons and try a couple of different things. Right, so we also need to perspective warp this thing, because otherwise it's not going to look right. If I go like that, and then kind of just... Actually, tell you what, I'm going to put this underneath the sketch layer. That way I can see where exactly it needs to go. And that's all right for now. And then all we're going to do is we're going to go to warp, and we're going to warp this thing. We're going to warp it up that way. We're going to warp it that way and this way. And up here a bit, and then in a bit here, and then all we're going to do is just shove it over this way too, because I want this to kind of be looking round. So if I go back to Control T, look, and come off this and go back on, and I go Control T, and here, and then I go Perspective Warp. I need to kind of and then Control T, we're going to rotate it up here, and we're going to shove it up there. That doesn't look right at all, it just looks absolutely shit. I think the head needs to be bigger than the body, yeah. Oh, that's better. That's much better. If I just kind of move it this way a bit. There we go. Right, that's better. That is much better. And I'm actually thinking I might add an outline to all of these. I think it does genuinely just look kind of cool. But yeah, we're going to keep going with everything here. So if I add some color now, what we're going to do is basically go to the same layer. And we're going to, well, add some color. I don't really need to do outlines here. So I guess the idea here is to... yeah, so pick some flat colors. I think for this first one here, we're going to go ahead with... we're going to try and work it in naturally, because I don't want to kind of too... and again, I want to kind of like draw colors from here. I think we're going to go with this very pale green. And kind of just etch in some color around these areas here. I need to change my brush actually, because otherwise it's not going to color it properly. I think that one will do. Put the opacity up and the size down. There we go. And in order to keep that sketchy theme on the outside, what I'm going to do is just kind of color in the inside bits here. And then obviously, because this layer is underneath sketch, what we can actually do is just layer it back down on top. All I'm trying to do is just keep within the lines here as best as I can. Obviously I can go back and erase if I need to. But yeah. We're going to try and keep inside the lines here where it is etchy, sort of sketchy stuff. Etchy sketch. And then, yeah, I guess we'll see where we go from here. So that's the top in. I think the eye is just a bit too stretched, to be honest. And then all we're going to do is go ahead and take our E, which is our eraser, and just come in here and... kind of get rid of some of that bit there. Which I do actually think needs to be filled in. If we go turn E off, if I zoom in way more, look, oh shit. If I zoom in, for God's sake, what we can actually do is color in these sections here. Now, yes, in terms of stream time, like before, it all depends on a couple of variables. One is when people get back, 2 is obviously when I have to go to work, and 3 is well, when my laptop runs out. It's doing pretty well, to be honest. The problem is I didn't have it fully charged last time, idiotically, because I thought I'd be able to get a much longer stream out of what I did. Turns out I didn't. I have also got to keep an eye on the time, though, not only for work, because I also want to go to the gym before I get there, because that would be nice. Right, so yeah, this obviously has a sleeve here as well. So we've got to chuck that in. Give it some noticeability. Here we are. And actually, with keeping these sort of sketchy, kind of ratty lines in, we're already completing one of the other steps in the Spider-Man style drawing, which is adding kind of black/white lines to emphasize certain areas of curves and things like that. So that's actually rather handy. Right, that's the other side of the t-shirt sleeve done. Again, we just come into E here. I'm just going to erase all of the bits that don't need to be there. Now, what I'm actually going to do is add glow to this piece as well, because I want it to be kind of like vibrant and cool, and also kind of expressive and things like that too. So I thought that could be quite fun. But I do genuinely want to come up like really neat with the edges here. So I'll best work into this bit and try not to hit the side bits, which thrusts the canvas upwards, as I just did. But yeah, just smoothing out the curves. And every couple of seconds, we're going to come off E and refill some bits that either didn't get filled initially or need filling. I'm actually going to do this bit in here as well. There you go. There's a couple bits here, too. There we go. And there we go. That. Now, you may be thinking it looks quite shit, and you'd be right in thinking that. It does look quite shit right now. But if we add more colours and constantly layer and layer and layer, it's going to get better, I promise you. So we've got kind of like this pale green top. I'm just trying to think out of what colours we have on here would look quite good with that. And I'm thinking maybe if we do some sort of... because I don't just want to do plain t-shirts. I think for this one I might do a plain t-shirt just so it doesn't like over complicate it, but for other ones I will do like blazers and dresses and things like that as well, because yeah, gotta have variation in here. But cool and relaxed and things like that, or active, is kind of that thing there. Okay, so if I go maybe... Let's try and think for trousers. I could go in the yellow region, but I didn't want to derive too much from the Family Guy one. So I could actually go with a bit of a teal colour. Go back to B. And kind of just create a new layer underneath this one and fill in. So if we go layer and new and add paint layer, I can go underneath here and then just merge this down with Control E, because creator. Yeah, so I'm just going to up the brush size, and like I did before, I'm going to go in, colour this in with some ease afterwards. We're going to go ahead and obviously clean up and then turn the paintbrush back on when I need to fill in certain areas. All trying to keep within the black lines reasonably to create good shapes for said body parts and clothing. Now, I did have the idea to do a naked one. I'm not entirely sure anymore, but it's still a possibility. Because my characters don't really have any bits, I guess the usual avatar, I mean like apart from these personas and OCs, well, mainly personas. I guess that one technically is, well, naked because they don't have any kind of bits. So it's true that I may have already made one, but I could make another one. Yeah, but I think I kind of nailed the perspective on this as well. Not the eye, obviously, that looks kind of shit, but the perspective on this drawing, because this hasn't been traced. If you go back and watch the actual stream that I did last time, obviously I had a reference image, but yeah, I think I actually did kind of nail the perspective on this, which is mad to think about, to be honest. And then, yeah, if we just go back, I don't want the entire thing to be green, so I might just... not green, teal. So I might just take this off the shoes. There we go. And then, again, we're going to go in with our E and just fill in and also get rid of some bits. So, like there. I think we can narrow that down a bit and then come off of E, and we're just going to fill that in a bit more there. Just fill up some of those spaces so it looks cool. And yeah, this actually somewhat kind of reminds me of the illustrator that does the, is it Dave Williams or Rodell? They're kind of like stringy, very sort of sketchy characters. But it kind of reminds me of that side of things a bit. And I do kind of want to explore this style a bit more at some point, because I do... Yeah, I obviously just kind of thought of this, gone with it, and it's come out. But I do want to kind of explore this kind of style a bit more at some point in the future, or the near future maybe. It could come up in one of the quite nearing videos, which you might see very soon. As I mentioned, I've got a couple ideas I want to try. So this could be a style or one of them. So then all we need to do is basically go here and then Control E. And then we just do the same process again with every single clothing part. So layer. Add paint layer. There we go. Chuck that underneath. And now we can get to work on the shoes. Now I'll finally do the skin tone afterwards as well. Now, shoe colour. We've got a very sort of green palette going here. And I do like the look of how the top actually looks shorter, almost like a crop top. You can't see the entirety of it because the trousers kind of go up the perspective. So I do kind of like that quite a lot. So yeah, so we've got a couple of greens going on right here. And I'm thinking maybe... we won't go green all the way, well, we might go green all the way down. I'm thinking maybe possibly a bit more of a orange colour with possibly some red accents on the shoes. Oh shit. I need to go B. For some reason my zoom isn't working. There we go. If I just, there we go. But yeah, we're going to try and go with a bit more of an orange colour here. I'm not entirely sure if this fits, but I kind of like it. Very neon. And then once again, like before, we're going to go ahead and E all around this. There we go. Perfect. Right. See, you know what, that actually looks alright, especially with this sort of sketchy style. That's the thing, much brighter colours, and I guess things like teal as well, but much brighter and more saturated colours, and lighter ones, they tend to work a lot more with this kind of style, with the sketchiness, whereas if you have darker colours, it's hard to see the sketchy lines, it kind of ruins it a bit. But yeah, brighter colours definitely will work with this. I think it's the only reason the orange is kind of fitting with the rest of this stuff. But I honestly do think it looks quite cool. Obviously, we're going to add shadows as well, so it may change some of the colour range of the oranges, and add some new tones, obviously, to all the clothing. So I'm going to do that, all of that on one layer. But this is coming together rather well. I was not thinking I'd be doing this kind of colour and scheme for this sketch when I originally drew it. It's kind of cool. Oh yes, I had another conceptual idea for streams. I don't know if it entirely work out, but I might be doing commissions at some point, and I was wondering if you guys would like to see. Obviously, I'd have to ask the person who asked for the commission. I would. What the hell? I may, if obviously they get up and running in general support, they will probably start at a low price, to be honest, because I mean, I don't want to go wildly high and crazy. But would you be a fan of seeing them on stream? Would that be something you'd want to see, possibly? Because I think it'd be quite fun to kind of share some bits here and there. Anyway, yes, that's shoe number 2 down. Oh, actually, not entirely. I need to get rid of this bit over here. It's kind of stepping out a bit. Because shoes, and yeah, never mind. I'm just going to get rid of that bit there. There, oops, and this bit here. Perfect, right. So those are the shoes, the top, and the trousers down. Now we can just get on with said skin tone. And I might do the skin tone the last one, actually. I'm not sure. Or I could change it up a little bit. I could change it up because that's Family Guy thing. So different universe, different skin. Whew. It's a very sort of pale green. It's not actually on the spectrum there. What if I went with this colour here as a skin tone colour? And then, right, so I'll layer. New layer, add paint layer, and then we can go here, and we're going to drag this down, and then we're just going to go here, which is Control E, and then yeah, perfect. And actually, if we take this outlook, I know it's going to look horrible without the sketch, but yeah, that's basically what lies underneath. The sketch just adds so much to the picture, and it kind of is, yeah, the defining formality of the whole thing. So I genuinely think it looks really cool. What's on? There is nothing on this. I just have an extra layer for some reason. I don't know why that is. I'm going to delete that. Doesn't need to be there. What was this thing? Oh yeah, this is my Family Guy. So I can actually delete all the sketches because I'll have proof of them on the stream. So you'll be able to see all like the original sketches on stream. They'll be there if you just go back and watch. Anyway, yes, we're gonna do the skin now. I've got that kind of decent colour there, and depending on how it looks, I may have to go up or down in the spectrum of things. You know what? That actually kind of fits quite well, contrasting the greens, and also I guess it does kind of go in with the orange, but yeah, it contrasts the green quite well. And I actually think it quite fits. This kind of reminds me of something I've seen on Instagram where they only draw the upper torso of a body, but it's always very sort of vibrant and colourful. And I guess I've just kind of subconsciously gone that way and kind of mixed it in with the Dave Williams or Roald Dahl illustration style, and obviously just kind of worked in the whole torso, the whole body instead of just the torso itself, which is kind of fun to see. But yeah, I do genuinely think the skin color works quite well because it's not like too pale either. It's very sort of. It does look kind of jaundiced, but to be honest, it does work. It does definitely work. So if we go here and E and then off E and then just again color in all of this, and then we can edit lines around the edge. Now what we need to actually do is chuck... Ah, shit. Can I separate layers? Because I need to chuck that underneath, not on top. Is there always unmerged layers? Merge. Cover layer, remove layer, merge layer below. That's quite annoying actually. Oh! Actually, what I might best do is if I go to edits. Is there a way to do your undo history? Because I'd really like that, please. There isn't. That's really annoying. Because obviously that has to go in front, not behind. So what I might have to do is. Oh wait, no, this works. Yeah, this works. Because I'm not an idiot, and I didn't merge the sketch layer. Which means that this can actually still work. This only goes to the top. Yes. Right, this doesn't merge with the sketch layer, which means it only goes over the top of the eye. It does mean I have to do array. Oh my god, no. Does mean that erasure is going to be a bit harder than it looks there. Which is why I was trying to be so careful with and we draw this. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see the problem we're running into here. I may just be really small and kind of just like over the top here. Add some extra bits. It may be noticeable, but I guess it will kind of mix in with the shade. That's the only thing. And then again here we'll kind of just mix in some bits. Try and cover this over. Oops. And just kind of sample some of these colors onto here. There we go, that's better. Oh shit. I don't know why it keeps doing it. Fucking arrays. Right. And then we go P here and then B again. And then we go. And we're just going a bit more up here. Perfect. Yes, the fingers we went wildly over on. So we need to obviously dull them back a bit. I genuinely think I have got better drawing hands. This is much better than what you would have seen about a year ago. Drawing hands are hard, but for some reason I progressed quite far on drawing them. Even without reference, I kind of just draw IRL without reference on to, well, traditional kind of drawing, I guess. Without reference, I just draw hands, and they turn out fine, which is weird, because according to a lot of people, hands are hardest thing to draw, and I also thought that quite a while ago too. But apparently I've got better, and yeah. I still can't draw faces though, which is why you may see that I'm just using the eye. Some may consider it cheating. I call it creative thinking. And also branding as well. Right, if we merge those down with the skin as well, it does also mean that we can now go ahead and... Oh no. It's similar, isn't it? That's fine. Right, actually, I want to add a bit of red accent, like I said I was gonna on the shoes, and maybe kind of like a brown logo on the... maybe like a little brown logo on top of the t-shirt too. I think that would look quite cool. Yeah, if we go add just like a bit of detail on the shoes here, maybe like a couple detached lines just like reaching across, and then when we come into here, look, we can have one of those like little tag things on the back. Just there. Actually, that doesn't really work, does it? Just some over the top red kind of sole stuff. Well, I actually think it just on the sole there to give like a extra separation on the line kind of works better, to be honest. And I might do it just over here as well. Oh, it went a bit far on that one. No, that one doesn't really work too well. I think maybe just there then it would, yeah, that works better. Okay, that's fine. Actually, yeah, symmetry sometimes best not. Can't even talk now. Yes, yes, we're gonna go ahead and add a new layer, because you always add new layers when you're doing shadows and highlights, because it is an absolute pain in the arse if you don't. Obviously on a one-layer drawing challenge it would be a pain in the arse anyway, which is why I would suggest using block shading and color toning to kind of shade your drawings. If you're doing a one layer rather than going like in depth, I would, well, in my kind of personal opinion, I would have to do like a monotone drawing or like a duotone one, or just like a very sort of blocky, fixed kind of geometric side of things, but still with texture. Go and get what I'm saying. But yes, what we're going to do is add some shadows. I need to change my brush preset so we can actually add these things in. We're going to go to the airbrush here, and we're going to try and make it a bit easier. Now I've got to be there at 2 PM, which means I'm probably going to finish this figure, which means we've only got one more done. I genuinely reckon we will get more done in every now and then. It's just I have less time this morning rather than a whole day, because obviously I've got to go to work. I'd also like to have some lunch before I go to the gym, so yeah. Right, what we're going to do then is, we'll just speed up. So, we're going to grab our shadows first, because why the heck not? And these have to go on top. Right, so the shadows are going to go on the bottom here, well, just at the top, right, the bottom of the figure. Low opacity, because otherwise you're going to get massive black shadows. And basically just going to go ahead and kind of cover the whole bottom of this, trying to make a bit of a darker patch down the bottom here. But also kind of blending all of that together. And then all we're going to do is work our way up the leg, just like we did with the Family Guy stuff. And again, we want a slightly darker line on the underside bit there, almost sort of blending the two shades in together. And we're kind of just going to do this all the way up, just like that. And obviously you'll see some excess on the outside, but that's actually fine because it kind of adds to the 3D-ness effect a bit. So now what we're going to do is, if I go to S here actually, I can, much easier. Right, if I get S there, because we're not doing shadows on the outlines as well. Yeah, all we need to do is kind of just establish where all of this kind of like bottom shading or light is coming from. When I say light, it's shading, obviously. But yeah, we need to kind of determine where all this shading is coming from and where the light's going to be coming from as well. So obviously under the arm is kind of like a main place because, well, it's going to cast a shadow. And then if we just come off select, I can do the other areas too. So under here, obviously the hand's going to be quite heavily shaded. Under here is going to be quite heavily shaded because of the t-shirt sleeve. And then not so much on top there. We might have a bit of shading here just because of how the neck works and where the chin is and things like that. And then maybe it's like a tiny bit of shading up here on the arm just because it is the underside, if you get what I'm getting at. And maybe just on the fingers as well in certain areas. You can kind of see what I'm getting at here. Just go over some areas to make them a bit darker, or you can just up the opacity. It just helps drastically. There we go, perfect. And then all we need to do now is take our whites and lower the opacity much further. Take a much bigger brush and kind of just work in all of that like we did before with the shadows. Sometimes blending them in over the top and sometimes just keeping them very kind of broad. There we go, and then obviously down the trousers here, we do just want to be a bit more careful because it is going to lighten this up a lot. But that's also kind of what we want because we want to show where the light is coming from. So we don't want to do too much like I have done there as well. Also, you've got to be quite careful with this because you don't want to overlap bits because otherwise it creates this really weird white bit. If you're doing one area, you want to do it in kind of like one go. Because yeah, like I said, otherwise it creates this really weird overlapping effect, except for the areas that it needs to be done in. So bends like this are going to have higher light bouncing bits and sort of bottom bits here as well. And possibly bits there too. There we go, you can kind of see where this is going. And we're also going to put a bit on the eye. The eye already has shading, and it actually kind of plays quite well into where the arm is. I can actually think that through before I did this. Yeah, that's that done. And then if we basically just go ahead and take our E and go to a slightly thicker brush. It just means we can get rid of this a lot easier than it would have been done before. And again, all we're going to do is literally just all the way around here. And actually what I can do is if I go like this, if I go to the actual sort of, well, I don't know where all of this stuff is taking place. If I go select, contingency select, this is something I did last time as well. You contingency select an area and then invert the selection. It basically just selects the only things that are actually on that layer, rather than the whole space around it, and it's just a massive, massive, massive help. Because any layers that you have above or below that won't be affected at all, and you can just erase as much as you need to. If we go to E here, and then just up this massively, it just means I can go all the way, oh my god, no. Make sure you're on the right layer, obviously. It just means I can go all the way across, and what, no. Actually, no, this is where you'll need to merge down, because otherwise you do end up deleting a lot of stuff. Nope. Nope. Yes. Problem is, it's being laggy again for some reason, and it's causing me to misdo things. No, I've got to put in half the hand. There we go. It's easier to do now. And then select my selection. And now we can finally... Yeah, now we can't harm the inside. Boom, perfect. This is where you can take it around big brush. Because this is where it won't hurt anything on the inside. Let's go all the way around here with your massive brush. Massive, thick, juicy brush. And just go ahead and chuck out all the extra bits that you don't need. All the way around this thing. Make sure you get everything, because otherwise it's going to look a bit weird. And then, yeah, that is literally it done. But again, because I've said... well, what I said is I've done the outline already and actually kept it as an overtop bit. It adds to the whole piece, and it doesn't mean I have to do a whole load more. What I'm actually going to do is just grab this brush here, sketch brush, go to black, and shrink the brush down to 4.37, which is the... oh my god. Don't know what just happened. We're going to shrink this down to 4.37, which is the size that I use for these lines, for the emphasis of kind of certain parts. And yeah, what we can do is just come in here and kind of add some extra bits here and there. And that's how you kind of do it. You can add emphasis on the top stretching, things like that. Just kind of add wherever you want or wherever feels right, which is what, again, I'm kind of doing with this piece. And you can add all sort of like little scribbles and things like that, just to add a bit of texture around certain bits as well. It doesn't have to be very like uniformed or anything. Just make sure you don't add too much, because otherwise it can ruin it a bit. So I'm going to leave mine there. I'm going to stop myself from doing any more. And then basically all we're going to do is go ahead and duplicate the layer. Duplicate layer or mask, and like before, we're going to add a bit of an outline, except it's going to be white this time. Copy paint layer, we go here, select contingency selection area, and now all we're going to do is select and invert selection, so it's only selecting that piece. We are going to select and grow selection via 5, like that. And then we're going to fill said selection with the color white, which I'm going to have to do via brush because it's not going to work any other way. And that is going to give us a lovely white outline. but that's not entirely what we want. Because we're going Spider-Verse sort of style, we are actually going to add a couple bits of blue and red here and there, just to emphasize that kind of glitching effects on some of the bits, obviously, in the movie. So add some. I guess this also kind of plays into the fact that I'm a Brit. And then I think it was a bit of yellowy orange too, and then a bit of green too. And actually, I think that colour adds a lot. If I just go over with a low opacity white around the whole thing, should just dull everything down a bit, but it should also keep everything in par. There we go. And then if I add a bit of black, again, that same sort of opacity in areas that are underneath, it will kind of again emphasize on where the darker bits need to be for this drawing to work. And then white again. Tiny bit over the top. Less pressure sensitivity. And boom. Now if we select and deselect, that is another persona done. Boom. I actually kind of like that a lot. And then all we need to do is basically, well, I can just kind of, you can see the difference. Yeah, we can go ahead and grab this. Oops, shit. Grab this, Control E. Boom, that is another one done. And then all we need to do is go ahead and S, which is select, grab a square. Actually, I'll just grab a free selection tool, which is that one. I'm going to grab you, and we're going to go ahead and shove you just next to our friend here. There we go. Boom, that is another one done. Select, deselect, and that is one layer as well. Yeah, very comic booky, kind of stickery, Spider-Verse-y somewhat style with a bit of David Walliams mixed in there and a tiny bit of Dorothy. So yeah, a whole mixed match of everything. I think the next one I want to do is, yeah, Hello There Has Been, and maybe I want to try do a Star Wars one as well, which should be very, very fun. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching once again. Unfortunately, I'm going to call it here. I don't think for every single stream we're going to do one single one, but obviously these streams are going to be more spread out because I've got other things in the works and planning, and I've got stuff to put on Patreon, by the way, as well, which I do have. If you want to consider checking out the stuff over there, then it's 7-day free trial and everything. There's some less PG stuff there as well for people who like that kind of thing. I've done a video on there that, yeah, that it's going quite well. There's a couple of videos up, and there will be more with ensuing ideas and videos, and the list of eternity, which is another thing that I think I've mentioned in the description of the channel and other things. It will come up in later media, but yes, once again, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, day, depending on where you are. And consider checking out my socials, which will pop up in a minute. I believe they're at the beginning as well. You'll just see a couple extra bits that may or may not be on the channel, as well as some promotional bits too. If I just go off here, back on to OBS, and you've seen. Yeah, so you should see all my socials here just now under stream settings in, and also this title card or this background, this backdrop, it is actually only temporary, and I'm planning to go ahead and create a new one on stream, which is I guess, ironic, because I've been creating a stream background on stream for a stream that I'm then going to use at the end of the stream and the start of the stream for a stream that I'm doing on stream, which I'm talking about on stream while I'm doing it on stream to make for a stream for the beginning and the finish for a stream on stream. Let me know down in the chat if you understood any of that, because I, to be honest, halfway through completely lost track of what I was saying at all. Anyway, yeah, see you all. Have a good one. And peace out. Bye. Stuff.